Ahoy mateys and welcome aboard. I am Rattle D Bones and today I got a video that's gonna rattle your bones. Our big catch of the day, Tophiachu. Today we're gonna be covering Tophiachu and her family of chews, mother, father, and brother. Before we jump right into that though, I want to give a shout out to me hearty crew. Those who've subscribed to me aren't just a number on my platform, they're my hearty crew and I love them to my bony depths. So let's splish splash in their path. Starting with the very beginning, we kind of remember Tophiachu from just being some live streaming beggars in their apartment with their family. Sometimes Mother Chu would go live, sometimes, most of the time, let's be honest, it was Tophiachu and Papa Chu. These two people are still infamous online to this day. Let's start from the beginning. Like I stated, their career kind of blew up just from begging on TikTok, making scams here, especially Papa Chu scamming. Runs in the family though, with Tophia had multiple scams underneath her belt. A quick rundown of all of her scams that I remember from the top of my head, no research. I remember she scammed her audience in the very beginning on TikTok for about her needing to move out. Never happened, obviously, and God knows where that money went. I could probably take a guess. I think we all could take a guess of where that money went, but it didn't go to her family or her moving out like she stated. And of course, one of the biggest one was, if those who don't know, her brother did die. Brother Chu did pass away about a year ago. And she would use his dead name to make money, make no mistake. It was a GoFundMe scam that she said was made by her brother's friend, and it was supposed to go bury the brother with that money. It raised a lot of money, and let me tell you, I'm pretty sure he's still not in the ground. That is one awful situation, and it is very messy. And we'll get to it. We'll get to it in time. One of the biggest things known about her family is, of course, Papa Chu. Papa Chu being someone who's incredibly mentally ill. I'm talking bipolar, schizophrenic, the works. He has a laundry list of pills he probably has to take that he probably doesn't. From scamming people as a fake bank, to treating his family really weird, I'll get into that one later, to his constant online relationships, because he cannot handle himself to any other woman. If a woman even looks his way, he's gonna fold. And he is legally married to Mama Chu, and of course, you know that causes fights.
I'm sick.
What happened?
Stop sticking your tongue out to the ladies, okay?
Okay. That's all you have to say. That's all you have to say, Maria.
That's dirty shit.
That's all you have to say. Just say stop sticking your tongue out. Okay? Okay.
What do you have to say about Ozark? I kind of want to join.
Get off the phone, Donald, and stay off.
Send me an email to Mordecai Global.
No, nobody send you an email. Get off the phone.
Maria, this might be a good call.
No, it's not. I don't care. You don't have Ozark. Just hang up.
I gotta go.
And on that note with Mama Chu, she has been known to be very racist and blatantly so, while also coughing every time she says a word. I don't know if that's infinite bronchitis glitch or what, but that really sucked. Not only that, she's been known to poop on the side of the road during one of their fiascos. Very cool. Brother Chu, who I don't want to talk about too much because he has passed away. There was a lot of stuff on him. Him being violent and aggressive with Tophiachu when they got into fights. Him being a pro-Diddy supporter. Yeah, a pro-Diddy supporter. And apparently might even having some allegations underneath his belt. Of course, that wasn't touched upon too much until after his death, so maybe we won't go into that too much. However, I will say one thing. If you go after a minor, a woman, or an animal, I don't care what happens to you. I don't care what's said about you afterwards either. Moving on from that, let's get into one of the weirdest parts and something really deep in the Tophia lore is her chronic addiction to Asian teens. Yes, Asian teens. and Asian teen corn. Now, we both know what word I'm saying. Doesn't start with a C, start with a P, but corn. You know what I'm saying? She's been caught on the same live stream where she was basically caught, or it was proven that she was scamming people on TikTok, you know, for the whole moving out. It was shown on her phone that she had a history, search history on her phone of Asian teen corn. Ew. And if those of you who don't know, who can't look at this beautiful woman and think of her age, she is over 30. At the time, this is what, 2023 maybe? So give or take a few years, am I right? But chronic addiction that even still stabs her in the butt to this day. Well, it wasn't too long ago she was trying to get with an Asian guy. She has an Asian fetish and she's a huge K-pop fan. Gross. It rattles tips. Don't sexualize people of the race or their culture. It's okay to like it. I like anime. I also like Mexican food, but I'm not, I'm not fetishizing Latinas. All right, I'm not fetishizing the American culture or a Korean culture. That's weird. That's weird to do that, and it's just gross. Love someone for who they are, not for what they are. That's weird. To bring up the fact that she's always begging for money would be a little rude if it weren't for the fact that she was blowing all this money on useless stuff. Now, I'm not just talking about DoorDash here, DoorDash there. Any money, any disposable income that wasn't from Tophiachu's disability money went straight into useless crap that did not help anybody. And it never changed. Let me make no mistake. From the beginning to the end, she's still wasting money she does not have. This became a big problem, though, when they first got kicked out of their apartment. Whether it was because of Tophiachu's constant fires in the house, his weird crosses all over the rooms that was made out of green tape, or from his his weird mental disability. He is crazy, saying awful crazy stuff, saying some really weird stuff, how he should be the leader of the government, how he should be ruling us all, how he's the next coming of God. If you don't know, Tophiachu has he used to say that his name was Edrikiza, Mordekaiser, or whatever, something like that, right? And that he basically was the next God, and he was the second coming. This got more of apparent that this wasn't just some guy saying weird stuff online, that this was delusional rantings, when he would then say this stuff while being arrested. And I'm sure he's been arrested multiple times. He can't control himself around any women, and he's always bringing up the floozier type of women that you might find on the streets on a late night, if you know what I mean. To, ladies of the night. Women on live streams just saying anything at all. He'll start making out with the camera. Well, if that wasn't enough, one of these times he ran off and they had to file a missing persons because he did not come back for a while. To this day, I don't know if he did come back. I know they got kicked out of their apartment shortly after, and he was no longer to be found. He did some rantings and ravings on X, and that was kind of the last time you heard about him until after Brother Chu's death. And even then, still nothing good. A current update on Tophiachu, I have no idea what's going on. He hasn't been around. Well, I can only assume either he's gotten the help he needs or he's in jail indefinitely. Moving on from Tophiachu and his weird antics, let's get on to the fact that, she got banned from TikTok, she being Tophiachu. When Tophiachu got banned from TikTok, it was because of something in The Sims. Now, I'm not a big fan of The Sims, never played it, but she showed something inappropriate that you weren't supposed to on a live, and that got her account taken down. That was her only means of money, and to this day, she still refuses to get a job. At the time, Brother Chu did have a job, and he was the only bread provider in the whole family. They would soon move from hotels to shelters, even motels too, bouncing around a lot of the times because of Tophiachu. Her constant need to live stream and to be on TikTok and to have people to talk to has led her getting doxxed multiple times, whether she did that accidentally or willingly. The cases differentiate between each one. This eventually led her into a hotel motel kind of place where you could live for a while. But that didn't last long, as they couldn't always afford rent. Rent was always late, and their house smelled awful. There were rumors of trash and feces everywhere. They weren't cleaning themselves. And it got to the point to where the maids, the people who come and clean up the houses, you know, the rooms, they were like, "No, this is disgusting. I don't get paid enough for this." And who could blame them? I remember there was this huge fiasco because a maid had publicly outed Tophiachu for being nasty, rightfully so, and probably tried to get her to kick out. Because, I mean, why would you want to go and clean up that filth every day? There's 3 grown human beings living in that house. And it's full of trash, smells like trash, and looks like trash. Who doesn't want to wake up every day and, oh boy, can't wait to go to the cleanup factory in the nasty Tophiachu apartment? Oof, that has to be like a whole day's work. I'm making that in like the type of like, I'm a trash guy and I gotta go clean that up. That has to take at least a whole day. But this led to them getting kicked out, and from them getting kicked out, they kind of stayed in their car for a few days in that area, leading Mamachu to take a fat dookie on the middle of the street. This would also be another blown up case from the maid when she talked about it. I remember around this time, a lot of people had like mixed feelings about it, being like, oh, well, she's a worker, you know, kind of just do your job. You don't have a say in who can stay and who can't. And for that, I completely understand. If you come into my apartment and there's just a whole bunch of gold everywhere and I'm laying on it and I'm doing, you know, making an angel out of gold, who are you to tell me I can't? I rented the room, I should be able to do that. But it's another thing, mateys, when you want to have a room that's full with trash, debris, and just overall grossness. I mean, at this point, we can even assume, were they even using the bathroom? Who knows? Honestly. And if they do know, don't tell me. Quite disgusting, and if I was a maid, I'd be like, yeah, no, this is going straight to the higher-ups. This is gross. I'm not doing this every day. I'm not going to clean up after you adults every goddamn day. That sounds like agony. Well, being kicked out of the homeless shelter wasn't all she had going. She lived in a car for a very long time. For a few months, maybe a year. You know, a good while they lived in a car. And the whole time, Tophiachu was live streaming, was begging for money, as she usually does. She is the bilge beggar. But it would lead to some awful predicament. I know I might be tiptoeing around this little event, but it's kind of heavy. Even though they were going to Comic-Cons, ordering DoorDash all the time, and somehow Tophiachu always had new items, new Hello Kitty ramen bowl, new this, new that, things you just don't need as someone who's living in a car with 2 other people. But one day, I'm pretty sure it was in the nighttime or in the morning, a robber did try to break into their car. This was not a troll online. This was a suspect fleeing another vehicle from a police chase. Tried to take the car. There was probably the slightest of resistance out of confusion. Brother Chu lost his life, and Mother Chu was hurt. Reportedly at this time, Tophiachu got out of the car, and from there you can only imagine the hell that comes from that. Not only did Tophiachu witness her brother being killed, but now she's out of the only place she was living, her mom's in the hospital, and her world, yet again, had been flipped on her head. For this, she has my sympathy. Losing a family member is not easy, this I know. However, a lot of trolls will come in and say that she was at fault. And now, hearing that at first glance, you're like, what the heck? This has a little merit though, and not in the way you think. I want to state this before I talk any further. Tophiachu was not directly involved with what happened to Brother Chu. Say what you will, say what happened, but she is not the reason for his death. Brother Chu's death was a result of their living conditions and then their environment. They were at the wrong place, the wrong time, and something bad happened. Why people are speculating this is Tophiachu's fault is because it came out that right after his death, a lot of their family members tried to help support her again. Again is the key word. Apparently her uncle had offered a place to stay for all 3 of them prior to this incident. It was turned down though because it's one of his conditions, and we don't know all, but one of his conditions was that Tophiachu could not live stream. He probably didn't want his business on air for everyone else to see. I respect that, you know what I mean? But because of this, she said no. So the other family members were goaded into not going as well. Then, you know, a little while later, this was a result of an unfortunate outcome. Hearing this, I think it's messed up that Tophiachu held her family back. Messed up, wrong, and just downright dubious. It's one thing if you want to keep your TikTok career, go live in a shelter. Go live with a friend if you can find one. You don't hold people back from living in horrible conditions just so you can. That's messed up. That's beyond messed up, but the situation's so heavy, I feel awful digging into it a little deeper. So let's move on from that. After this, though, would only highlight Tophiachu's monstrous ability. What I mean by that is her ability to completely shut out all humanity that had an inch in her left. She did, like I said earlier, she did a GoFundMe scam for burying Brother Chu. She needed money, and God knows she didn't have it, and a lot of people came to her support. I mean a lot of people. She had a few thousand waiting for her. Not only that, she added money from other donation parts. She had money from family. This was the first time in a while Tophiachu had a lot of income. But of course, classic Chu style, this money was not used on anything important at all. This money was blown on shopping, makeup, trips, and of course, food. DoorDash, DoorDash, DoorDash. It seems like anytime she gets a little bit of income, it goes straight to DoorDash. Considering a lot of things, and it might be a little mean, considering her weight, considering her living conditions, considering how unhealthy both are, I really don't think the last thing you should be doing is DoorDashing food. Apparently, it's not just food though, she'll DoorDash other things. As in the Kiwi Tapes video, shout out to Kiwi Tapes, I learned all my Tophia stuff through him and Smokey. In the Kiwi video, he even stated that he's seen her DoorDash Five Below. Five Below. How are you Five Below any money? But this, of course, expanded to where she's now even saying she doesn't have the money to go see Mama Chu in the hospital. Mama Chu was in the hospital for a very long time, if I remember. Maybe a month, maybe more. A long time. And God knows the physical things she was going through, the mental things of witnessing your kid die. That has to be so hard. But now your other kid, who's getting all this money, handling all the money for both of you, is blowing it on anything and everything she can. To this date, right now, she is still doing the same thing. She was shown on Valentine's Day with a certain partner. Now, we don't know if this is her partner yet, but there's a lot of speculation around it. Not just that, though. If blowing your money wasn't enough, then maybe blowing your money on a person is. She is known to go out, a lot of the times on her lives, going to the mall. A lot of the times, maybe with this special person, maybe not. But regardless, she's taking these little trips out of her shelter. She's going to get food, going to the mall, you know, doing girl stuff, being bougie. But in the same day, she'll turn around and complain on live how she doesn't have enough money to go see Mama Chu in the hospital. Like I said, same problems, different day. She is constantly blowing her money on things that don't matter to the point where it's affecting her and her family. Again, Tophiachu is someone who will not learn from her mistakes, and that's quite disheartening. Even nowadays, she's making more and more pictures of herself in AI. I'll show you what that looks like here. Obviously, not her. It looks nothing like her, but she keeps making herself in these AI pictures, trying to make herself look good. I don't know why. A little while ago, there was a whole fiasco of her trying to find a sugar daddy. Because Tophiachu worked so much in her life that one time at, what was it, a Dunkin' Donuts or maybe a Starbucks, and she got fired because she smelled bad. And that's a reasonable thing to get fired for. You're handling food, you're handling what, drinks. A customer doesn't want to come and order a coffee and a bagel sandwich to some woman who smells like she's gonna eat it. You know what I'm saying? Take care of yourself. It's gross. I've seen people on my 600-pound life able to bathe themselves more than Tophiachu does. And while she is a bigger lady, she's nowhere 600 pounds. So what is her excuse? Same excuse that it's always been. Laziness. It's always sad to see someone ruin their life because they're too lazy to do anything about it. Disheartening, it's sad, and it's downright diabolical. Especially if you're bringing people down with you. My hopes for Tophiachu would be that she gets help. Somehow. She gets it wrapped around her brain what she needs to do. She gets a job. You work, you get some money. You get a place. Now, getting a job is really hard right now. I understand that. I'm hoping to make YouTube a job because I'm having trouble in mine. Especially right now in the economy and the world. The world's getting awful, and you are too. She will not learn from her mistake. I'm looking at this. I'm thinking about all I've talked about today. Everything I know about Tophiachu. What is the line, do you think? Me hearty crew, mateys, you scurvy pirates, and you dogged marines. What do you think is going to happen to Tophiachu next? Let me know in the comment, because I'm curious. This is either going to end quietly and softly. She's going to drift away from the planet. Off the 7 seas, never heard of again, but except for in legends. Or she will tear up each ship that comes by her way and swallow them down to the seas below. She will probably become the Kraken. I think that's what she'll become one day. One day, Tophiachu's greed and glutton will lead her to a lake, and that lake to an ocean, and she'll become a giant tentacle monster that steals Asian teens and eats people's foods and your ships. Well, that's all I got to say about Tophiachu this time, mateys. I hope you liked the video. I hope you subscribe and join me, crew. And I hope you have a good Friday. I will be live streaming Saturday on Twitch. So go hit me up on there. Same thing, RattleDBones14. And I hope to see you there, mateys.